Welcome to Fly Tying with Whiting, where each month we'll bring you a fly pattern tied by one of our experts using whiting fly tying feathers. Whiting has a diverse line of feathers that serve many purposes in fly tying. And our intent here is to help you understand some of the many uses for whiting fly tying feathers. Welcome to the Callibaetis Life Cycle series. Today we're going to tie a Callibaetis Pullover Cripple. This is a fly I've had excellent luck with up on East Lake, on Hosmer, and recently on a Sun River Anglers Lake of the Dunes outing. I think you'll really enjoy this pattern. It's a takeoff between a Pablo's Cripple and a Quigley Cripple, and I've adopted some of the best of each pattern. Our materials list for this fly will begin with a Daiichi 1180 size 14 to 16 hook. This is a standard dry fly hook. I use 6/0 tobacco brown thread. The shuck is Zelon Mayfly brown. The abdomen is wild turkey biot. For a thorax, we're going to use a blend of UV dubbing in tan and superfine dubbing in pale olive, about a 75-25 mix. For the wing, we've got Zelon dark dun, and for a hackle, we're going to use whiting dry fly saddles, a grizzly dyed dun. So let's get started. I'm going to tie on the thread right at the 2/3 point of the hook and trim off the excess. So we'll start by tying on the Mayfly brown Zelon right at the wing set position, and I'm going to take this all the way back to the tail and maybe one wrap underneath, bring that back forward. Next, I'm going to tie on my bronze wire. This is an important piece. It does two things for me. It will add a subtle amount of weight to the fly, and it'll also strengthen the biot that we're going to tie on in a moment. Now, I've trimmed the Zelon to about the length of the abdomen. This is a cripple pattern, and so that should imitate the trailing shuck off this fly. I'll take my turkey biot. I'm going to tie this in with the opaque side forward and translucent side back. And then I'll clip this into my hackle pliers. And the very first wrap, it's going to fold, and now the opaque side is back and the translucent side forward. And you can see what a nice segmented effect this does on the fly. We'll wind this up to the wing set and tie it off. Then I'm going to take the bronze wire and I'm going to wind it forward, trying to mirror the opaque side of the biot. And it'll add just a little bit more color, but more importantly, it adds a subtle amount of weight to the back end of this fly to get it to ride low in the water like a cripple would. It also protects that biot to where it will not break in trout teeth. Now I'm going to attach the dark blue dun Zelon at the wing set position. And we'll attach the whiting dry fly saddle. Now this is kind of a trick part of the fly. I'm going to attach my hackle pliers, put them in my index finger, and I can use this Zelon as a wing post. And I'm going to wind the hackle up with probably about 6 to 8 wraps, and then I'll wind down with the hackle down to the base and tie that off. I'll pull the Zelon back so I don't catch any hackle tips as I'm tying this off. And then I'll clip the excess. I'm going to take some of my dubbing mix and I'll just pinch it around the thread very lightly. And I dub differently than many do. I don't use a dubbing loop or dubbing wax. What I'll do is I'll capture a couple of fibers and then I'm going to twist this dubbing around the thread to create a yarn with it. And we'll pull the hackle out of the way. I'll tie the thorax of the fly and then finish up right at the head. And I may have caught a few stray barbs. Let me trim those out. It's kind of hard not to catch a barb here and there. So here's kind of a trick part of the fly. I'm going to pinch all of those barbs back, and then I'm going to pull this Zelon right over the underside of the hook and allow the thread to cause it to rotate to the very top of the hook. And I've got a nice kind of a loop, and then I'm going to pull that forward and suck all those fibers over the top of the thorax itself. Now I'm working right around the eye, so I'll pre-glue the thread and then I'll drop right into a whip finish. If I attempt to put glue on the thread as I finish up, I'll probably glue the eye of the hook, and I don't want to do that. So we pre-glue the thread to eliminate that problem. And lastly, we'll trim the wing. And so that's your finished fly. Give you a perspective what it looks like on the underside. This fly rides really low in the water and trout just can't resist it. I love fishing this pattern in a Callibaetis hatch because it is really an effective pattern. It's proved itself over and over for me on these early season Callibaetis hatches. So that's the Sunriver Anglers Fly Tying Corner for this month. Thanks for watching.